Now we will discuss the techniques for language learning. Technique, a broader term for specific tasks and activities. It is implementational in nature, that which actually takes place in classroom. Techniques must be consistent with method and therefore in harmony with an approach as well. So techniques are the actual specific tasks and activities that are implemented in a classroom. They must be consistent with the method, the design and procedure, and therefore in harmony with the approach, which means the ideas and beliefs and principles for which they are implemented. Activity refers to performance on the part of learners in the classroom. Procedure, practices and behaviors that operate in teaching language includes techniques. We have controlled techniques and we have free techniques. Under controlled techniques, we have teacher-centered, manipulative, structured, predicted responses, pre-planned objectives. Controlled techniques are teacher-centered. Teacher provides the tasks and activities to the students. The teacher manipulates as per situation and the need of the learner. It is structured. It follows certain systematical guidelines and the responses are predicted. Objectives are predetermined, pre-planned, whereas free techniques are student-centered. Reliance is on the learning of the students, and students are in charge of their own processes. It is communicative, open-ended since it involves exchange of ideas and interaction, and unpredicted responses are expected. Objectives are negotiated and not predetermined. According to Brown's taxonomy of techniques, we have a list of controlled techniques, which include warm-up, setting, organizational, content explanation, role-play demonstration, reading loud, question-answer, display, drill, translation dictation, copying, identification, review, and testing. Warm-up technique is there to get the students stimulated, relaxed, motivated, and attentive, or otherwise engaged and ready for lessons. Setting includes focusing on lesson topic. The setting is created by the teacher where the attention is directed to the topic. Organizational means that the procedure is followed and the material is organized and that organized material is presented. Content explanation consists of grammatical, phonological, lexical, and pragmatic or any other aspect of language that is there with explanation. Role-play demonstration. It says that selected students or teachers demonstrate the procedures which is to be applied in the lesson segment which is to follow. Reading aloud refers to the activity in which reading is done directly from a given text. Question, answer, display. Question, answer, and display shows that the activity is conducted by involving prompting of student responses by the means of displaying questions. Drill. Typical language activity which involves fixed pattern of teacher prompting and students responding. Translation. Student or teacher provision of L1 or L2 translation of any given text. Dictation. Students writing down orally presented text. Copying is the activity in which students writing down text which is presented visually. Identification activity involves students where they pick out and produce, label or otherwise identify a specific target form of a language. Reviewing is the activity in which the teacher led the review of a previous week's work. And testing is the activity where formal testing procedure is followed to evaluate students' progress. Semi-controlled techniques include brainstorming, storytelling, dialogue, narration, information transfer, information exchange, wrap-up, and preparation. Free techniques include role play, games, report, problem solving, drama, simulation, interview, and discussion. Brainstorming is an activity where learners sit together and generate ideas. Storytelling is especially when students gather, and not necessarily it's lesson-based. Dialogue is students' production of narrative or dialogue following cues for miming, cues, cards, pictures, or other stimuli. Narration is the presentation of story or explanation derived from prior stimuli. Information transfer is the application from one mode, which is visual, to another mode, which can be audio. Information transfer is the activity in which application for one mode, for example visual, to another, which is writing, is taken care of. Information exchange is the task involving two-way communication as the information gap exercises. Wrap up. Very brief teacher or student produced summary of points and they sum up or wrap up. Preparation, student study, silent reading, paired planning, and rehearsing are a part of this type of technique. Among the free techniques, role play is considered as a very useful free technique in which students take up certain role with the help of cues, prepare dialogues, and perform. Various kinds of games are introduced in a given language or in a target language, and learning takes place by participating in those games. Report of a student prepared exposition on books, experiences, project work are developed through this activity. Problem solving is an activity which involves specified problem and limitations of means to resolve that. It's a free activity and mostly enjoyed by the learners. Drama, simulation are another free techniques which reinforce role play and problem solving. Interview and discussion. These two activities facilitate and encourage students to direct their learning to get information from one another and discuss and deliberate on specific topics. To conclude, techniques refer to specific tasks and activities in the classroom. Types include controlled, semi-controlled, and free techniques.